Welcome to Ms. McKean's Tips on Tricks on how to keep an effective planner. This video will go over overall tips and tricks for any system, the different types of systems, and last but not least, adaptation. First up, overall tips and tricks. In any system, you need to make sure that you have the following categories. You want to make sure you have the ability to track long-term and short-term. Sometimes we get assignment dates, events months ahead of time, and we don't want to be able to forget them, but we can't put them in our daily, weekly setup. So you want to be able to have like a yearly setup. So when you get those dates ahead of time, you put them down. Then when it's that month, you put them down. And then that way you don't forget for when the weekly finally comes around. This is a system meant to help you see what's coming ahead and also make sure that you don't forget things. You also want to be able to track urgent and non-urgent, being able to prioritize things. Some logistical tips and tricks, color coding. Color coding is very helpful for that urgent, non-urgent. Maybe you highlight the things that need to be done today. You could also color code by classes. I also really suggest putting boxes and being able to check them off. This is very satisfying to be able to check things off, but it's also a way to hold yourself accountable for getting things done and also acts as a visual cue for you to remind you to get something done. Also, sometimes when we get an assignment, there's way more detail, but we don't want to put that all in our planner. So one thing I really suggest doing is you could take a picture of something that's been put on the board or a worksheet, and then you store it in an album, maybe named Planner. And then that way, you know, after looking at your agenda, you can go to that album for more detail. Last but not least, you need to build the habit of actually checking your agenda. If you do not check your agenda and don't make it useful, it's not going to be useful. So how can you build that habit? I really suggest setting a daily reminder in your phone. So you first want to pick a time that is going to be convenient every day for you to check. I really suggest not picking right before bed in case you didn't get something done. Then you'll still have time. You want to set it to repeat daily. And then you also want to make sure you set that reminder to an alert to go off. Now let's go through 3 different systems you could use. There's the classic agenda system. And it needs to be an actual agenda, not just paper, because paper can easily be lost and you also won't be able to track short-term and long-term on just a piece of paper. The pros of an agenda, it's already set up for you. The cons of the agenda, limited customization. So this was a struggle for me, and so I ended up going for the bullet journal route. A pro is it's totally customizable because you make it. Sometimes I find a day by day works totally fine. Other times I have more events, so I need to split it into tasks and events. And sometimes I don't really have deadlines, so I split it into main ideas. It's also a creative outlet. I know I personally enjoy being able to do this. It's a stress release for me. Cons of it is it does take extra time. The last system you can use is an app on your phone, Google Calendar being a prime example. The pros of this are you don't need to get anything extra or carry anything extra. Most of us have our phone on us at all times. A con, you can't always be on your phone, especially if it's a class where you're not allowed to be on your phone. How do you put your homework in? And hopefully not forget it. Last but not least, adaptation. This is a trial and error type of thing. I use a different system almost every year because I find new ways to make things work and more efficient. So that's okay. You might find a week into it, you need to change some things, especially if any of the things you're doing in your planner are not helpful to you or they are annoying to you. Your planner is meant to help you, not frustrate you. So you need to go ahead and adjust those things. I found the typical agenda setup of day by day somewhat frustrating because I couldn't really see the main ideas as easily. They weren't separated. And then this one, I split into main ideas to see that, but then I lost the chronological. So through this trial and error, I was able to develop a system that works much better. It combines the chronological and the main idea. Also, there will be off periods when it comes to planners. It is okay if you don't track your calendar for a week or whatever it may be. What matters is that you recognize I didn't keep my calendar and now I need to readjust. Ask myself what is keeping me from doing my planner, and then asking yourself how can I make this a more efficient, helpful process for myself. If you have any questions, please comment below or email lagoonamazing@gmail.com. Happy planning!